All right, good evening. Welcome to the Sweet Talk. Today is Monday, May 18th. Oh, May, not May. Sorry. I always get the date mixed up. March 18th, 2019. I am your host, Kim Atina. I am a Google certified trainer and a gold product expert in the G Suite for Education Help Forum, CS First Help Forum, and Jamboard Help Forum. And today I am so happy to have on the show Stephen Hope. He is actually, him and I follow each other on Twitter all the time, and we're going back and forth on Twitter. So it's really nice to have him on and meet him face to face. He is an independent learner at Lead City College, and he's a Google certified trainer as well. And I have to say, just following Steve on Twitter, we have a lot in common, and I'm really happy to have you on.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. So, yeah, I'm originally a sports teacher. So I've taught pre-16. So I'm from the UK, from Leeds in Yorkshire. So I think I use this quite a bit. So if you imagine Game of Thrones, and we are kind of just close to the wall. We're not over the wall, but we're quite close to the wall. So yes, I'm up north. I'm a sports teacher by trade, but I've moved across in terms of looking at technology integration. Used to use it quite well in terms of my lessons through iPads, and then since the college moved to G Suite. And my role is currently I oversee I'm a head of independent learning. I oversee independent learning for the whole college, technology enhanced learning, and also oversee all the library structure. We have a very large further education college, and we have about 23,000 students. So it's quite a large organisation. We are a Google reference college, and Google as a whole is our digital platform. We don't have a VLE, we have a digital platform now.
Wow, that's huge. And so it's actually nice to have a guest on at the college level, because most of my guests are really like K-12 educators or administrators, and it's nice to have someone at a different perspective on the show at that level to see how you're using G Suite and the whole bundle in the school. Steve, can you hold on for 1 second?
Yes, of course, can you?
My TV is going off in the background and it's killing me. So hold on a second.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
It's okay, no worries. I just thought that you're watching TV at the same time. I was like, I have not bored you already, have I?
Well, the TV's on and no one's in there, and I'm like, is somebody going to go turn it off? Nobody's in there. So. Well, anyway, so it's nice to have you on because it's good to hear a different perspective of how students and teachers and back office and are all using the G Suite tools in your college and as well Jamboard. So today you're going to be talking about Jamboard and how it's actually used and what teachers or students are creating with it. If you're not familiar with Jamboard, Jamboard is part of the G Suite for Education package. It's free. It's available right in Google Drive. It lives just like a Google Doc or a Google Slide or a Google Drawn file. And it's accessible via the web, an app, and also there's a Jamboard kiosk that you don't really need, but it's a nice little feature to it. So how are you guys at the college level using Jamboard? Do you have Jamboard there? Elaborate on your experience with it and how teachers are using it.
So for anybody that does follow me and anybody that knows me, I'm a massive fan of Google Jamboard. I think I was given the title by a company called BenQ, which are the worldwide distributors of a Jambassador. So I was the first Jambassador. So I actively promote and share best practice with other colleges and other schools in the UK. We started our journey at Google Next 2017, where I just saw it as a tool, and I thought, and it was been targeted at business because that's what it was built for. And I thought, actually, that I think that could play a part in the college's role around. We've created independent learning zones where they're non-traditional classrooms where students can. They're a bridge between libraries and classrooms, really, where students can extend and make progress away from the traditional classroom for things like their study programs, but also for maths and English. So we saw it as not as an alternative to an interactive whiteboard, and I think that's the main thing that I would say, that it's about transforming your learning space with Jamboard. It's an absolutely fantastic tool, and just to think that you're going to play or put your slides on it would be just a travesty, and it is really expensive to do it. So we looked and thought, how can we look into these flexible spaces and what device or what tool is out there to be able to support that. So we looked at Jamboard. We got one in on a trial for a week, and every day I just got as many students, and I planned to get as many students and as many staff as I could to see the board from as many curriculum areas to actually see whether it would play a part and whether it would make an impact. And the positive feedback then made the decision that we were going to invest in one. And our estate of Jamboards has now gone from 1 to 8 in the matter of 9 months. So we're at 8 at the moment. But not only the kiosk, we've also just invested in some HP Flip touchscreen with stylus Chromebooks. We've just invested in over 150 of those for our maths classes.
What kind of Chromebooks were they, Steve? I didn't hear you.
The HP 11 Flip X360. Yeah, okay. So the HP, we buy a lot of HP devices for their cost and their durability. So you can completely flip, and they have the Play Store enabled, and we've bought 150 of those. So that we have Jam and we have Equasio and we have the Play Store apps completely enabled for our maths classes, and we're trying to make maths digital. I'm not sure about in America, but in the UK we have a national problem around resits. So part of the funding for any student that doesn't have what was technically a C at GCSE, that is now a 4, if they don't have that as part of their funding, they must resit that. And it's a really low stat. I think it's less than 20% of students that don't pass it in school will then go on to pass it at college. So we were thinking, well, something's happening here, because if we continue to do things in exactly the same way and deliver in the same way, our maths, the students clearly aren't getting it. It's not empowering them and it's not engaging them. So we've moved to a different model of delivery, and technology has been the enabler. And over the last 3 years, by embedding technology and changing our delivery model, it's now gone above national benchmark. And Jamboard is playing a massive part in that this year.
Wow, that's really impressive. So your 8 Jamboards are really geared for the math professors?
No, so we have a mixture. So we have 2 for maths. We have some for special education needs. So we have 2 for special education needs, and it's working wonders there. We also have one for HE, health and social care, so higher education health and social care provision. We have one for sport, and then we've got some in our open spaces as well.
And how easy was the transition for the teachers to use the Jamboard?
I always use the quote in terms of what my job is. My job is not necessarily about the technology. My job is kind of getting people to imagine the unimaginable, a little bit like Walt Disney. So trying to get people to think, how can I deliver differently than I have done before? But it isn't about me just delivering it, because that would be great. It's about the teachers being empowered to think, how can I do something different for the benefit of my learners? And it's not easy, but actually just showing them a couple of examples, they go away and fly with it, really. We've seen some fantastic examples, and some of the stuff that you've been posting, there's Cassandra Dre, Tom Mulaney, and the great tools that now Google have actually produced for the first day with Jamboard is a great start for staff, just to not reinvent the wheel, but have a look at those resources and apply them to the context of their lessons. And it's made my life easier. It's made me look even better. So I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, I totally love Jamboard. Now I'm speaking as a middle school level, because I'm teaching 7th and 8th grade, and when I actually, what I did was, I integrated, like a fish ecosystem lesson with the 7th grade science teacher, and I created a template using Jamboard. I'm like, okay, we're not going to do Google Docs. Let's create a template. And I put on each slide what I wanted, what my expectations were, shared it out in Google Classroom. Kids had their own copy of it, and they ran with it. I mean, I gave it to them. I didn't really have to go over any of the tools with them. It was easy enough for them to pick up what the tools meant, what you can, how you can use them. And then they actually ended up adding more information to my jam.
Yeah, we've seen that in our maths departments where we're setting challenge zones. So the college has something about stretching the students beyond just their comfort zone into a challenge zone. And we're seeing students engaging by either making a copy, but also using the board as a challenge zone. So staff will create some activities, and we've seen students actually engaging and making faster progress using Jam because they're really enjoying it. It's something very, very differently and something unique to what they've done previously. And some of the students that maybe would only answer 1 or 2 questions in terms of the challenge zone are doing 3 and 4. And the problem that maths staff are telling me at the moment is they can't get the kids to actually leave the classroom at the end of the lesson. So I was like, it's always difficult when you've got a 10-minute gap between classes. I said, but it's a nice problem to have. It really
Yeah,
is.
that's true. That's true. You're right. Yeah, I do. I find the kids really engaged now. Even in the web version of Jamboard, they're engaged. Like they're really working. They're adding the content. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're on task. And I agree. I think that it transforms the whole learning curve. You're thinking out of the box. You're presenting something in a different app. And the kids, it's a, like what I say is, it's a white space. It's a big learning white space, and just run with it. Like just put on it whatever you need, and everything is right there. You know.
Yeah, I think for us, because I know you talked about middle school, K-12, from a college point of view, and even further into HE, we're trying to extend the learning and progress beyond the 4 walls of a classroom and beyond the 4 walls of a college building. So I know that in the States there's been some bad weather. I'm not sure about New Jersey, but if you're having snow days, how can you, as a teacher, from your kitchen where I'm sat, this is not Big Ben, this is my kitchen. How can you engage with 50 collaborators that maybe don't have a Chromebook, that can use their phone, can use a PC? It's device agnostic, and the students can engage and interact and still make progress, regardless whether the college is closed or whether the teacher's actually in there in an actual fixed room face to face, or whether they're just in this virtual space with them. And I think that we're missing a trick by not doing that more. And I've just seen some posts on Twitter. And as you said, I'm a massive social media hoarder, and I magpie loads of ideas where they're bringing Google Meet to the Jamboard, where you can actually pull a widescreen Google Meet onto the full board, so that students will be able to then be on their phone, collaborating through the app, but also if they're running late or can't get into the college because they are a carer or they have working responsibilities or are ill for the day, they can actually watch the interaction of the class as well at the same time. And that's so powerful that we have, as a college, a large demographic of our students that come from the lowest backgrounds in the UK. Sometimes they can't make it in. So how can we bring learning to them? And I think let's do that more. I think let's break down the barriers that we potentially have and take learning outside of the classroom if we can.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that makes a big difference. And nowadays, like most kids or young adults, they have phones, and your phone is capable of accessing, your Google Drive and Jamboard and your files, and it's accessible anytime, anywhere, any place where you are, any device. So it's, break down the walls, make connections, be connected, and don't be limiting yourself to certain things. If something's new out there, don't be afraid to try it. And one question I wanted to ask you was, I would like to be able to tell some of the teachers in my school, especially the math teachers, like I'm always trying to persuade the math teachers because you know, I hear from many different people, and not just in, you know, in my school. I'm talking on different areas, like different conferences and different sessions and professional development that I've attended. Math teachers just don't integrate technology because they feel like they need to have the paper and the pencil and the textbook, or you know, the online website that has you know, the problems or the homework. They just don't know how to integrate, make their workflow digital in the classroom. So how are you encouraging, or how are you seeing the math teachers at the college level use Jamboard?
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're picking navigators. So we're calling them navigators for mathematics and technology enhanced learning, where we're targeting proactive staff that are empowered to want to do something different at different campuses, and then we will train them, support them, and they will cascade that information out by drip feeding to people that they see on a regular basis. So maths teachers are more likely to respond to a maths teacher telling them that information rather than me, who has never taught mathematics and is a sports teacher. And clearly, because I'm really positive about Google, they're just saying, "Oh, you're just trying to push another tool." So sometimes it's not the actual message; it's how the message is put across and who's actually passing the message on as well. So we've picked the Navigator program. We've also brought in people who deliver Jamboard and create it, and looking at the resources. Not only that, Equatio is an example as well through Text Help. We're bringing the people in to actually deliver the tools. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get some people, Google and around the world, to maybe deliver a session to our maths teachers, and they can then respond about how the tool might fit them. And I think it's just about sharing best practice, that maths teachers, if they've got a good idea, they become insular, they might hold on to that idea, and we need to be celebrating the great stuff we're doing and collaborating across the college and beyond, I think. And what I'd love to see, it's just an idea at the moment, is creating a mathlathon. And I'd love to get everybody involved, see whether there's some crossover with the States as well. But through Google Jamboard, through the Meet feature, and 50 collaborators on Jamboards at the same time, competing and doing little activities, and I think that would be really empowering. So if anybody's out there, including yourself, if anybody's interested in that, let's get it going and let's just see where it takes us. And I think students engaging with other students from around the UK and even in the United States and sharing some of the ideas around mathematics and some other stuff can only be a good thing.
Yeah, that's a really awesome idea. I like that idea. We would have to figure out how we can present it and how we can actually technically do this.
Yeah, so we can present it through so I think that the turning point will be when we can get the Google Meet stuff via Jamboard. I have Enterprise Edition turned on. So through the Google Meet, I'll record it automatically into my drive, and then I'll share the link out so people can watch it after as well and just do some collaboration. I think let's get our heads together and let's see what we can do.
Well, that's a really good idea. I like that idea a lot. So I am in favor for that, and I will push it out, not only to my school but into the other schools in my district, and see, like I said, like I'm a K-8 district, so we're not going to have like the high level mathematics as what you're used to, but the mathathon using the Meet feature would be a great idea. The only problem is with me in my district is I am the only one that has a Jamboard. So my question for you would be, how would other people participate in this mathathon? Do they need the Jamboard, or can we just use Google Meet?
You can use a Google Meet, but if you're wanting to engage in the actual activity rather than just watch it, if you've got a Play Store enabled, so if you've got the app pushed through the Play Store, it will work. They just need the code.
Okay.
So they can still, as long as they've got the Play Store app, Jamboard app pushed out to their Chromebook or their device, it will still work as far as I'm aware.
Now, what about on an iPad? Will it work?
I think let's test it. Let's test it when it comes, and let's go from there.
All right, because like here I'm at a school that we don't have Google Play enabled Chromebooks.
Okay.
Not yet, anyway. So I would be forced to be using either iPads or even just, the web version of Meet and Jamboard.
I think that would be really brilliant to see how we can, with not by new technology and by using the tools, because it is device agnostic and system agnostic. Let's see if we can get loads of different people on loads of different things, all taking part and showing that actually learning is accessible to all, and you don't need always the newest shiny product to actually get it to work. So I think that'd be really, really good.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, because you may end up getting more people to participate, because most people don't have Jamboards right now. And they may not have the Google Play enabled Chromebooks. So they're going to use the technology that they have, So that might be something that maybe we can collaborate on after the show's over, or, through email or whatnot.
Yeah, sounds exciting.
Because we can come up with some kind of topic and put it out there and see what we get.
Yeah, sounds exciting. I'm always happy to do to collaborate and share with other people. So yeah, great stuff.
Yeah.
And I think so. One thing to going back to, so completely going away from the mathlophone is around something I think is quite prevalent in the United States, around the 4 C's. So your creativity, your critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. Well, actually, the Jamboard is perfect for those 4 C's, and I think even the 5th. I've heard a 5th mentioned now in regards to curation of information. So if you think that we've just talked about it, it makes students become more critical thinkers. It gets the creative spark and the element and the creative juices flowing, but also the fact that you can communicate with others through the board and from different locations, and you can collaborate with them as well. But also, I'm seeing some great examples of where students are going on and using the boards as a kiosk, but also on the actual Chromebooks and the devices, where they're starting to curate the information, because you can pull things from the web, from your drive, from images, and so on and so on. And there's so many different things, and putting post-it notes on there, where students are starting to create information that they can then push into a presentation or an assignment, or actually just hand that in as a research topic. And I think it's just another great way of engaging learners that maybe don't want to sit there and write their assignments.
Yeah, I agree. I found that as well when I was pushing it into the science class. I found that the kids really ran with it, and they were adding more information into the jam than what I had required, and they really embraced it. So I do, when I've given PD training on Jamboard a few times now within the past few months, and my biggest thing is it allows for, like you said, the 4 C's, and definitely curation, because it can be a collection of resources. It can be, brainstorming for charts, anything, labeling, and you can just create new pages or frames in there and just continue to add your information. And what's nice about it, Steve, what I really liked about it, and I learned from Phil from BenQ. He was at a Texpo in Atlantic City, and which I didn't know about this, but you can actually send your jam to, when you sign in to the jam on the kiosk, you can send it, and you can send it via PDF or PNG file.
Yeah, we've been doing that quite a bit, where
it's awesome.
Yeah, where we're taking individual frames. So students are doing individual frames. We're then taking an image of those, sending it to ourselves, and either then sharing with it via Google Classroom, but also maybe doing a bit of app smashing, where some students then use Screencastify to walk over, and then rather than show they're working out in mathematics or some subjects, actually explain it when they're struggling to demonstrate they're working out. Some students really are better verbally than they are written, but we just have to bear that in mind.
So they're using Screencastify to explain just say it's a math problem, and then they're taking that drive video and putting it into the jam.
Yes, so they're not putting it into so what they're doing is they're kind of taking the curation of all the information as an example. So it doesn't have to be mathematics. That could be any topic. And then rather than just having all those different images and those web pages and all the bits of curated, they then save that as an image, as a PNG to their drive. They then put their screencastify on, and they then verbally walk through and explain as a bit of a kind of presentation, and then submit that via Google Classroom. So that's been really powerful for some of our students that they just walk through it. And that came from a member of staff. It didn't come from me. I was thinking, and we always use the hashtag, it takes a teacher, and it does. It takes a teacher. They're the professionals. They're the best app that we have. The best app that we have is not necessarily Jamboard. It's the teacher then applying it to the context of their learning. Yeah, it's them thinking, right, how can I do something differently? And I've seen some brilliant examples, and it always amazes me.
Yeah, that's actually a really good use of both Jamboard and Screencastify. That's a really great idea. I'm going to check that out, because if you create everything in the Jam and download it, you have your work. Now go ahead on and explain it. Yeah. That's brilliant. That's a really great idea. I'm going to do that. Is that okay?
100%. I think Tom Mulaney's done a video on it as well. And I don't know whether the teacher got it from Tom Mulaney by looking online, but you know what? That's fine, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel by just you learning and thinking, you know what? I'm going to take Tom's ideas. It's definitely not my idea or the teacher's idea. It's then thinking it's just learning from each other. And I think magpieing is a brilliant to take back to your nest or your school is a great way of learning and helping each other.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's why I do this show, Stephen, because I always learn something new from people on the show, and especially from my PLN and you and Tom and so many other people have been such a great resource. And we have to give everybody a heads up or a shout out, because without everybody, we wouldn't be able to do what we do effectively.
I'm not sure. Another one. You've got me on. You've got my brain firing now. Another one. I don't know if you've seen it, but when you on the actual phone or on the tablet, when you bring up a Post-it note, where students can then click the voice typing in the bottom corner, depending on their device.
Okay.
And then students are then, especially our special education needs students, so rather than actually doing the handwriting on a Post-it note, they're then speaking in, and it does voice to text on a Post-it note, and then you can push it onto the board.
Are you talking about Google Keep?
No, on Jamboard. So the actual Post-it note feature on Google Jamboard. So when you're on it on your phone or an app, on the bottom there's a little voice memo bit. You click on there.
Okay.
I wish I'd have prepared it and I could show you, but I'll send it across.
Is it on the app for my for my Chromebook?
It should be, yeah. So, or if you've got your phone.
Let me see if I can share my screen. Hold on. Let me see if. Hold on a second.
Okay.
And you can just tell me where to go. Can you see my screen?
I can, yeah. So if you go onto just to create a new Jam.
Okay.
And hopefully this works on a Chromebook. I've not tried it on a Chromebook, but let's see.
Well, let's see, right? Nothing, no harm. You can still see my screen?
I can indeed, yeah. So if you go to the Post-it note feature.
Okay.
And then hopefully it should bring up a keyboard. So have you got a keyboard on your side?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. So it definitely works.
Keyboard app.
I don't know where it pops up on a.
Well, maybe
where it pops up on a Chromebook. Right. Okay. It might be the Chromebook, or it might be. What I'll do is, I will create a screencast, and on my phone, and then I'll send that across to you.
Okay.
And I think that's a great feature where just through the app. So have you got a mobile phone with you?
I do.
Okay, let's do this. So what phone have you got? Is it an iOS device or an Android?
I have a Pixel.
Okay,
2.
right, that's fine. So you should be able to, if you go into the new Jam.
All right, hold on. I'm not as fast. Hold on. Okay.
Okay, and then go onto the Post-it note feature.
All right, new Jam. And I go into the Post-it note.
And in the bottom right corner, or that's where it is on mine because I've got an iOS device. I know I shouldn't, but I do.
Okay, yeah, but I have the keyboard now.
And in the bottom corner, do you have looks like a microphone or somewhere?
Yeah.
So if you click on there and speak into it and just say, hello, Stephen.
Hello, Stephen.
And push it.
Okay.
And then that's now live on the board.
So let me try this again. Okay, wow, that's really cool. Okay, so let me do this. Okay, so hi, it's Kim.
There you go. So if you think that you've got, might have for accessibility with some of your students, but also some of the students might be engaging, look at that.
Wow, you just taught me something really cool. That is awesome. So that has to be on the mobile device, not on a Chromebook enabled.
Let me have a look and see whether I can get it going on a Chromebook, because I'm not sure how you do the if you can do some voice recognition elements or whether it just doesn't work. But it also works on a tablet as well, as long as you've got your voice.
Okay.
So the tablet definitely works, and I think that's great.
Awesome. That is awesome. I can't believe something simple like that. You know, you just open the door for students with, you know, maybe with disabilities or, you know, anything really like that. That's awesome. I am going to, I can't believe it. That's great. Thanks for sharing that, Steve.
It's all right. There you go. So at least you've learned something today. So I'm really proud that I've stayed on and I've helped you.
Oh my God, I learned something new all the time. This was awesome. I might be, you know, I might have to make a blog post and credit you on this one and share everything with you on the blog post. So this is awesome. That's great. Because I know a lot of people, like I have a set of 20 Chromebooks at my school in my class, and I have the Jamboard app installed on the iPads, and that just allowed one of my blind students to be able to participate.
Yep.
So that's awesome. Oof, that was powerful. Well, we're going to end on that note. We're going to end on a high.
Yep. Yeah, we don't get any higher than that.
No, it doesn't get any higher than that. So that's awesome. So I'm going to wrap up the show. Let me share my screen. So you can visit my website at www.thesweettalk.com, SUITE talk.com. And if you want to watch tonight's episode, click on the episode page, and you will see the link to the video and the show notes here as well. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, click on the guest page, and you can fill out this form, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And also, I'm happy to say that my show is available as a podcast on Spotify, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play Music. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter as well. I really am very thankful that I had Steve on today. He really, oops, there we are. All right, I'm back. You really enlightened me on a lot of different ideas. I took notes as well. I learned a lot, and I'm sure that the Jamboard crew will be watching, or hopefully watch when they have a chance, and learn something new from you as well. So I appreciate your time, and thank you for connecting. I know it's late at night there, so I don't want to keep you too long, but I do appreciate you, you know, coming on, and we will collaborate on that idea that you had as well.
It's my pleasure, and look forward to collaborating in the future. And thanks for inviting me on. Yeah, really appreciate it. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it too. Thanks, Steve. I will talk to you later. And until next time, have a great evening. Bye.